Muted. I hope you can hear me, and thanks for wow, so many people. I'm quite surprised. And my phone just rang now. I heard myself, so I know the sound is working. And Dag, Gareth, Michael, Jay, Arvin, and Michael again, Baelish. So many people. I've been really looking forward to this and talking with all of you. I'll get myself a little bit up here now. So, well met. And I'm doing very fine today. It's a beautiful day out here in the fjords of Norway. The spring is most definitely here. It wasn't until a week ago, 8 days ago, about. There was snow here. I was trying to run a little bit in the mountains. Ørjan, hello. Heid, Anriksen, Oppdal. Oh, there's so many people from all around. Georgia and South Dakota. Uppsala, I saw there also. Jamie, you're there all. Yeah, please let me know if you have where you are. I saw Margot there. You're in Maine, I know that. And Terje, you're in Oppdal. And that's kind of cool, Terje, because I'm going to show you something from Oppdal today. Here, together with you, I have a plan. And Trish, you're in Texas, I know that. I have sent you a t-shirt. I'm not sure if you got it yet. And please let me know. Yeah. So I'm, as always, I would like to do this a little bit two-way back and forth. And of course, you'll be writing us always in these live streams, and as long as we're not too many people, now we're 97 people watching this live, I'll be able to read most of the comments also. Lots of Georgians in the chat. Yes, I see that, but I do believe there are some Georgians from the Caucasus Mountains also. I saw a comment there also. So, but I hope this, my first question to you is this time all right for you guys to talk a little bit back and forth? I see if people are here from Idaho and Wisconsin and even Gothenburg. That's fine. The shirt, yeah, Dirk. This is I got some merchandise. We can start there. I've actually now in the link below, so you can check it out for yourself. But I have. Oh, you can't really see this, can you? It says here, oh, I'm supposed to hold it the other way. That's why. So there are some great runic inscriptions from Bergen, just down south of here. 800 years ago, younger Futhark, and I put them on the merchandise for this channel. And right here it says, Astmin Kysmig. As you might be able to see on the back side, there's an English translation. It says, my love, kiss me. So yeah, there we go. And I was so fortunate to get some more merchandise, this drinking bottle and with some Viking Stories. And there's Viking Stories on back on the shirts here. So yeah, if that's something that's good. Perfect. Jamie, Margot, good timing. I guess this is a good Sunday for a lot of people all around. And it keeps snowing, Tora. I guess that's up in Oppdal where you live, in the mountains. I have a friend of mine, he moved from Oslo to far north in Norway, and there's so much snow. Yeah, well, that's good. And Viking Stories, we're doing great. And, oh, you're a mug collector. Yeah, you can go out. I put links down below so you can see there. And even in Canada, in Ontario, Laura, we got you on here now. Yeah, this bottle is actually quite good. I have to say that, Chad. So, but that's only if you'd like to support the channel. And this is sort of why I wanted to hold this live stream to really give an update. I've told a lot of people from these seemingly misfortunes back in November, December, and this huge. Well, they called it a Viking battle. Let me try if I can show you. It was it ended up quite well for me, but it was all, as many of you know. Oh, Nils Olof, we have some people from Norrland in Sweden. That's good. And Lady Goldberry, I have seen your name so many times here on this channel. Mother's Day, yeah. And there are some others. Love me like you love yourself. That's actually someone who wrote 900 years ago in the Younger Futhark in Bergen. I put it on some merchandise also. And yeah, there are plenty more, and even some naughty ones, which I really shouldn't say here on YouTube. So I'm going to show you, before I move on, let's see if this works now, because this will be very helpful. I'll share my screen here just with a, let's see now, program window. Oh, here we go. Maybe you can see this. Let's try and do this. So this was the Nature paper in September that came out in September, yeah, last year, September. And we had a sort of disagreement. This Danish professor was the lead author on the paper, and I was also a co-author, and it didn't go so well in the start, for those of you who know about this. And it was quite, I decided, I talked to a lot of people, and we decided to go public in Danish newspapers. I'm trying to find, I was thinking a lot about this one. Have you seen, I guess many of you are familiar with Holomål, and Holomål, the tale of the high one, all these sayings of the old, like this one: the coward believes he will live forever if he holds back in battle, but in old age he shall have no peace, though spears have spared his limbs. That's just one stanza of Holomål. And I thought about that in November last year when I had this council business, and I was very fortunate to have so many of you. I see many of the names here even to support me through this, and now it's time for an update on how things are going, because I've told many in the past few months that things are going better. It's looking the right way, and absolutely they are. So yeah, Viking party, pirates movement, that'd be something. But in any case, it ended up well for me, because I was able to not talk about this in like he wanted, the Danish professor. He wanted to talk about this person to person, attack the person. I kept to the facts, and that proved quite well to do, actually. So I was happy for that. And then I was able to find some new partners. So oh, thanks, Michael. I didn't know you could do this, but I found that out last time. Yeah, you can actually show support during a live stream. So thanks, Michael. But that was sort of my point also. I faced obliteration. Can you say that? Well, as a scholar, in my profession, and I really felt like I was facing some kind of persona non grata personality, in a sense. But it ended up quite well, since I was able to get new partners, and for the first time since 2005, I was able to do projects with DNA and history research in Norway. Because I've been doing all these projects in all around the world, on the Easter Island down there, and lots of things up here in the Caucasus Mountains, and in Kazakhstan, and in France and Italy, opening old tombs. It's been really interesting and cool, but never in Norway. And because of this business that happened here, hey Greg, welcome, new member. That's good. So because of all this business, and because I was able to stand in the fight, I guess, I was able to get new partners in Germany. And the good news that I wanted to talk to you about today, well, there are several good news, is that the MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, between the University of Oslo and the Max Planck Institute in Germany, which is the top DNA lab in the world. I moved from the third spot to the top spot because of this council business. That's been, well, swell, I have to say. And yeah, as you say, Arvin, the facts were on our side. Well, you see, the Danish professor, he went out and he was quoted in Norwegian media saying Norwegians weren't Vikings. I had to say something to that, of course, yeah. But I faced several months of a lot of uncertainty. It was good to have this channel and to build this channel, because I felt, you know, I got to do something, and I was able to secure a deal of collaboration, not only with Max Planck Institute, but also with some partners I had in the Caucasus Mountains, in the country, Georgia, not the state. And there's some really, really exciting and really ancient skeleton material from all around the Caucasus there. And yeah, for now, I can say it has to do with Easter hunter-gatherers. And those are the ones who came, if you've seen that video that I made, I guess, a year ago, when I went up north in Norway. I'm going there again pretty soon, in the start of June. The video is called "The Blonde Hair and Blue Eyes Come From." And that's actually two populations. Because the Eastern, I'm not going to even show on the map, because the Eastern hunter-gatherers, and this is like before the Bronze Age, 7, 8, 9, 10,000 years ago, they would travel northward, migrate northwards, come down the Norwegian coast, and there they met these other people who's called the Western hunter-gatherers, and they didn't have warfare apparently. They mixed and became what is known as Scandinavian hunter-gatherers. And those from the south, those were the ones with the blue eyes, but the north had the blonde and the fair skin. So, and it's quite interesting if you think about how few people there must have been compared to when the Indo-European peoples arrived, or the spread of farming and the population growth that came out of that. So statistically, those genes should sort of like die out, but I don't know. So yeah, and that's one of these projects. But the memorandum of understanding, the MOU, has actually, I've been waiting for it since January. It came through this week. And that's one of these things I wanted to tell you guys, because that's when I can go out with it and say, yes, we're doing the research, and the research is now with the University of Oslo, Max Planck Institute, a really, really good DNA lab. We have some projects in the Caucasus Mountains, and I'm still not on the payroll, mind you. So yeah, so thanks, Michael. You I know you know my position. I'm hoping to get there in August, but maybe before. So meanwhile, I'm trying to build this channel, and if anyone wants to talk about that big company and the situation that happened a week ago with here on YouTube on this channel, we can do that, as long as I guess I need to watch my words. There's some words you can't say when you have a YouTube channel, and you certainly can't criticize those who pay for the ads. Of especially the owners of YouTube, you know who that is. So yeah, and Michael, can't wait for your documentary. Yeah, actually, we're doing several stuff there now. I can let you know a secret there also. We're I guess some of you have seen this Secrets of the Viking Stone, it's called, on Discovery TV, the TV station. It's available for streaming, but also on Apple TV. I think you can find it. And in Scandinavia, it's playing on Viaplay with Peter Stormare, this Swedish Hollywood actor who's always been playing the bad guy. I made a short video about it. I hope to get him on this channel. That'd be great, actually. We'll see. I'm working on that. And let's see. Not to endorse any. Yes. Oh, yeah. Now there are a lot of questions. I can't just keep talking. I got to read what you write here now. You see this Indo-European migration. Yes, we're coming to that. I'm going to make a video of that. I've been part of several papers, and they've been in Nature. And there's not only migration of the Indo-European tribes coming into Europe, who are the forefathers then of the ancient Greeks, for example, and the ancient Romans, but also the Germanic tribes. But there's been a mix of peoples there. I talk a little bit about it in this video called The Secrets of the Germanic Tribes, because there are some peculiarities there. But there are sound papers, it's sound science, and it's been in Nature magazine. So yeah, I do. But we did find this one paper that I'm co-author of. There's also been migration westwards, right? Not just going into Europe, but later on, after, I guess, some things have been going on, especially in Northern Europe, people have also migrated eastwards back into Asia. That's kind of cool. So yeah, I'm taking questions. Yes, I am. I'm going to try now to talk about some news while I answer some questions here and there. And I got something to show you as well also. So we'll get to that. And I'll try not to talk too much more than 1 hour. We'll see how it goes. Pitted Wear culture from the south. Yes, that's what I'm talking about, Kjetil. And then we'll get to that. I hope it's okay. I'm drinking out of my merchandise. I also have some water here, but this is bought on Iceland, and I guess so many of you have probably been to Iceland. I do a little grappling, if you know what that is. Well, in the start I did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and then it was called submission wrestling, and now it's just called grappling, I guess. But it's not that hitting and kicking thing. I don't like that too much, but I do like to wrestle in the grappling kind of way. So I went to Iceland and I visited the really good MMA club there of Gunnar Nelson. He's a mixed martial arts fighter, and I had some training sessions there. It was really, really cool, and I got this one. So yeah, I guess I'm getting a little bit too old to do this grappling stuff. I was in LA also. I went to this gym of 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu with what's his name again? He does all these rubber guard things. I'm not going to talk too much about that, but he wanted to go 8-minute rounds, and we did 2 of them. I was so beat. I should find a photo for that. But anyway, as Margot is saying here, I'm glad you get to return to working on your passion. Yes, I am. It's taking a while. It's a strain. Also financially, and I'm staying in a too big of a house also, and I can't even get this, trying to get it sold, but it's not the best market and not the best time with all this COVID-19 stuff. So we are I'm very thankful, I'm very grateful for all the support I've gotten from you, and for all of you who have bought merchandise and supported me on Patreon. There are links down below if you want to check it out. And I've tried to give you some extra stories out. I call them fireside chats. Isn't that what I call them? Well, anyway, I talk about stories from these expeditions I've been to, and that's on the Patreon channel for those of you who want to support me there. And regarding the documentary, I talked about Peter Stormare, and I just wanted to mention that we are discussing season 3. I don't know if it's going to happen, and it depends a little bit on Discovery, I guess, and Viaplay in Scandinavia. In Scandinavia, it's called American Runestone, and season 1 and season 2 is out. I'm pretty much in season 2, and especially if you've seen this in season 2, the episode 5 and especially episode 6. That's I felt they really nailed it. The tension we had when we were searching for this Viking treasure. That sort of was. I was taking them there, Peter, and said, "Oh, is this?" I'm not going to spoil it. Not going to spoil what we were searching for, but that was kind of cool. Yeah. So and also I'm doing something before I take Old Saxon here. In his question. I did a recording together with the Game of Thrones character, Kristoffer Hivju. He's a very popular actor in Norway, the guy with the red hair. And we did some DNA, or actually I did his DNA. And that's coming in a documentary, I hope this fall. We'll see how that goes. So, but I do hope there will be more possibilities for documentaries, and I'm planning something next year in Central Asia on the steppes, and I hope to pull that off. It looks good. Actually, I can mention that's another piece of news I had. We're also going to do a big conference in October. I think we're going to gather a lot of different researchers, scientists, and we're going to talk about this in the European migration and the new research that's come out in the past 5-6 years and really changed all our history books and everything. So then I'm ready to move on. Not to endorse any website. Do you have an experience, knowledge of my true ancestry where they compare one's DNA against archaeological dig DNA? You know, that's a really good question. I don't think they've been that good in the past few years, and but I do really enjoy this one. Let's see if I can put it up here. It's called Tracker. Let's see, yeah, Scale Innovation. They have this GPS tracker, and you can check out. I'll put that up here for those of you want to, or especially for you, Old Saxon. There it is, and I might even highlight it. This is data from FTDNA, and you can see the animation of how your paternal ancestry have come into Northern Europe or wherever by typing in your specific DNA, and it's gotten quite detailed. I didn't think it was that good a year ago, but now apparently it looks much better. So that's something to try out if you wanna. I have to be honest now. I'm more and more connected with family tree DNA. So I am not. That means I'm probably not in a position where I should recommend or not recommend different DNA providers. What I've said, well, I haven't made any deals or anything, but I think it's exciting to work with all these modern DNA companies, but they are commercials. That's why the geneticists at the DNA labs haven't worked that well with them in the past. But you know, in FTDNA, they have 55,000 big Y DNA samples in the database, and that's so much. So it's sort of like a treasure chest if you want to compare with modern DNA, ancient DNA with modern DNA. So yeah, I think that's coming more and more. I used to say, just to answer your question, Old Saxon, I'm trying to find. Oh man, there's a lot of comments here now. Well, this is all good, I guess. I'm trying to find. Well, what I used to say before, here we are, to finish up this, I should probably spend less time or answer questions more quickly, I see here now. But I used to say that in 23andMe, that DNA provider, there you can find out much more health threats, threats, you don't say that, health traits, sorry. And it was a little bit disconcerting there a couple of years ago, because you could actually, if you have a new girlfriend, you can both take your DNA samples and you can see if you fit biologically. That's a little bit sketchy. So ethically, in a sense, right? Suddenly see, oh man, you got that thing that I have that we shouldn't have, you know, and then we shouldn't mate. I don't know. They had actually an offer, but they now you got to think for yourself if you want to do something like that. And the Neanderthal bit is quite cool in 23andMe. And I got 4% Neanderthal. And that's actually more than I thought was possible. I'm really proud of that, you know. They had bigger brains, didn't they? But I think there's a lot more coming out on Neanderthal DNA very soon, and these commercial providers of how much Neanderthal do you have, that will be more updated once we have more on the genome of these different other human species like Neanderthal, and there's going to come more out there in just a few. And this blue eye and so yes, that was my point. Human being 1, 2, 3. It's quite strange if you think of the number of people through so many generations, and of course it's got something to do with natural selection, I would imagine. Yeah, I'm gonna take this off. Yeah. So that's something we can talk about also. Yeah, it's a fun show. I guess you're talking about secrets of the Viking stone, or American runestone, as it's called in Scandinavia. So, and Laird, he says something good here now. Coca-Cola. Oh, yeah, that was fun. Yeah, Coca-Cola. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. We have to do that. So, Yeah, American Gods. Yeah, you know, I really enjoy Peter Stormare, and maybe I should say something positive about him. I mean, the energy he has and the vitality, and I mean, it's like he's in his 30s and he's not in his 30s, and it's so inspirational, and it's such. I hope to be able to do more with him in future projects, because he's really interested in Vikings and history, and he's very intrigued in a very laid back way, which I think the TV series display absolutely. And it's quite fun that he always plays a bad guy. I don't know if you've seen on YouTube where he says, you know, he interprets, plays these Russian actors, but he just speaks blah blah. It's not really well, and it's Swedish English, you know, in any case, in his language. Yeah, so that's something to talk about. Yeah. Speaking of hunters and nature, do you have some plans for any more hiking videos or possibly a camping video? Yes, I do. I'm a little bit inspired by Björn Andreas Bull Hansen, but he beats me by a mile. But I live, you see, I see the mountains here, and I know there are a lot of mountains in the world, but maybe, I mean, I think there's something special here. Actually, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you this later on, but I might as well just show you this one here, because I think it's quite special with these. I've been, Chad, just to answer, I'm going to do this. Yes, is the answer to your question there. But I would like to show you this one. This is from a Hungarian cartographer, can you say that? Or he makes maps. And this map here, it's a really cool map, I think. This is elevation. So I've been out in Central Asia in the mountains of Almaty while working on these routes of the Indo-Europeans, or these different projects. And I'm standing on the steps, and then these nomads on the steps, they tell me, I mean, this is really high elevation, and then we went up into the mountains to look out towards the Caspian Sea, towards the Black Sea, into Europe, to see where all these, you know, Genghis Khan and Huns and Scythians and Sarmatians and before that even. And they tell me, you know, we are nomads at land, but you are nomads at sea. And that's true, because, I mean, to sail to America is 15 days of sailing from here. We just need a dried fish. And they were on a horseback for 15 days, and they were in Europe. They just needed a dried horse. And as you can see here, see how flat it is. But once you come, and if you see on this perspective here, you come out this big bay, the Scandinavian Bay, and then you have these mountains in the end there, and that's where some of them settled. And actually, my DNA goes really far back here, so probably some in my family also. I'm going to stop sharing this, but this is from something I'd like to show you a little bit about afterwards. But it's a little bit based on this. Yes, I'd like to go out in nature and talk a little bit more, but I hope when I'm in nature, I get a little bit philosophical. So and in a tranquil kind of sense. So I hope that's okay, that will be sort of like the teams. And I might even have to drink coffee to do that. Yeah. Hey, John. And Michael, we're all in some way related to the Jamnar. Yeah, and that's a really important point. I mean, there's been so much mixing, and because I've seen even Norway now the past few, there are some really social justice warrior young archaeologist students who are on Facebook and really telling them, don't be so racist. But the thing is, I mean, we should just relax and look at the facts, especially DNA. You know, there's nothing to worry about. I mean, there's been a lot of mixing, really, and it's quite intriguing to see how the mixing, because now we're starting to understand more. And as I mentioned in this video on the secrets of the Germanic tribes, something really weird, maybe horrible, went on down in Spain and Portugal, and maybe also in the United Kingdom, because so many men died after the arrival of the European. Could have been plague, all right? But if you look on these rock carvings that we have a lot of around, and especially in Scandinavia, and if you've seen Heilung and their music video, where they put these rock carvings in animation, sort of get the impression of kind of how those centuries and maybe even thousands of years were in the Bronze Age and into the Iron Age. So yeah, that's something to talk about. I'll move on now, and yes, and well, not well. I just put you on Andy there because I agree with you. Peter and Elroy, they're hilarious together. And Jamie, you got a question? Did the Vikings have oath rings? They did a lot of oaths. All right, and and there are a lot of rings also, and everyone had a comb. And it says even in Havamal that I talked about earlier. I mean, everyone dies. Right, cows dies, friends die, and even the usual die. But one thing never dies, and that's the word that comes out of your mouth. And there's another poem there that says the deeds that you do. And in the clan society, and if they even have it in the penal code, in their laws, you know, if you did something wrong, your brothers, your uncles, your fathers, even your grandfathers and cousins had to pay fines, depending on how closely you're related are to this. To the one who did a crime. So there's a very interesting way there, and that means oath meant a lot in the start of the Viking Age. But once these later kings came on, like in Norway, that had been in the Varangian Guard or been abroad, coming back with so much money, and also the whole, as I talk about in what started the Viking Age in that video, after this initial period when even not so wealthy people could come back from England with lots of wealth, that sort of toppled the whole top-down structure of the clan society that had existed for centuries. So you can imagine what that did with the motivation throughout the 9th century in the Viking Age. So I don't know, did that something to do with the oath? Well, we do know the Varangian Guard, which was later in the Viking Age. They were famous for keeping their oath. And as if you've seen this video where I make a chessboard into the Nefataffer board, because you can do that. It's not 8x8 then, it's 9x9. There you can see also that you practiced how to protect the king, even if it means losing your life. And that's something to think of. Yeah, that's something to think of. You know, Lods, I'm going to answer your question here because this is quite interesting. There has been, I mean, there are people calling different producers and archaeologists and professors. There are people calling them all around the world to try to get cancelled. And so to answer the question, yeah. But they asked me, you know, and talked with me, and then it was fine. And I probably said yes to collaborate with people before that maybe I shouldn't have. I've learned a lot from that. But that has made people to question, you know, yeah, who is this guy? He's doing all this different stuff. And even the producers in LA and even sometime after, people call around to your employers, man, or to your collaborators and say, yeah, you should work with him. Even from Norway, I even know who some of them are who make these calls. I've decided not to do anything about it because as long as the ones who I work with trust me and I have my integrity and they talk to me before they think about doing anything council. And that's happened a little bit. Yeah, that happened actually last month even. So yeah, I guess you just got to stand there and take it, huh? It's despicable. Can I say that? I think I can, because I don't like that method, you know. But yeah, it's the way it is. It's the way of the world. Mike, Wardruna, I really like Wardruna. I'm happy that they were in this TV show Vikings. And Espen Selvik, I've been following him actually for 12, 13 years because I have a friend in the music business who worked with him then and talked about this guy who used to be black metal guy who wanted to do all things ancient and with ancient instruments and everything, the old-fashioned way. And that was kind of cool. And we used to have a band in Scandinavia, a Swedish band called Hedningarna, the Heathens. And they used to do that. And that was kind of cool. and they made some really good, cool songs. They put in some almost witch kind of I'll write it in here now. So Hedningarna, so you can see this is how it's written. And they were really popular 20 years ago. I think they quit 50 years ago. And they did also the same way as Wardruna does, but in a much more 90s kind of way. So I'm really glad that it's working out for him, and I'm looking forward to his next stuff. I think his latest album is great. And as you say, Lady Goldberry, Hedningarna, a great group. They are, yeah, go check it out. It's really, really cool. So yeah, and thanks, Chad. It's much appreciated from me also for all your support here. So yeah, and I agree, Lods. It's sad. It's what you thought, but I'm level-headed about it. Yeah, I gotta be. I mean, can't go around hating people and being miserable. And as long as, we're a lot of people here talking now. This is like the clan. It's really, really cool. So and I'm glad you're having these discussions here also. No, I'm not gonna. Oh yeah, I see, Örjan, you had this question about religion. If that killed Nena. Well, I think I read something new about. I can't remember where I read it, but it was something sound about the Neanderthals and how smart they were compared to what people have been thinking about Neanderthals. That they might even had some. They had burial practices. Does that mean they had religion? So, but that's a cool topic, Örjan, and that's something. But I see some other people are answering that. So that's really good. And let's see now. Let's go see. I too live in the mountains. That's cool. And so there's a lot of comments here. So if anyone wants to tell me something about these comments, you should let me know and we can see. Flameso, what do you think about connections between the Hastingi Vandals and the people of Hallingdal? You know, that's a really cool question because I'm looking into that. Just because I'm working in this time period before the Viking Age. And I'll show you something on Hallingdal now. There's a place in Hallingdal in Nesbyen, Nes, which is they have these sayings about this old king Halling and where they came from, and it's really intriguing because this is a region in the mountains. I'll show you now in a very short while, if that's all right. And there are also you see there's this debate it's going on, Flameso. And it's regarding, we see some proof of migration into Scandinavia before the Viking Age. That's in the Nature paper, the Vikings paper I was in. And the question is, could this be Germanic tribes that returned, like the Heruls, who gave us the name Earl, right, or Jarl in Norwegian, and they were down in the Balkans. No, they kept for centuries contact with Scandinavia. They went even up there and got a king. When their own king died on the Balkans. And the question is, did some of these settle in Scandinavia after this dreadful 6th century when so many things changed? Trading routes changed, everything changed. Even the language, the elder Futhark went to the younger Futhark, for example. And lots of people died, and the spread of Islam happened because of all these people dying. So there are 2 centuries there that really toppled everything. There's also this archaeologist, Lotte Hedager. She claims that some of the Huns, they didn't only settle in Hungary, but some of them settled in southern Sweden. And in Bergen, the Hordaland place, it's called Hordaland, the ancient sayings there claim that they have something to do with the Haruder. And the Haruder tribe, they're in Germany. They were in Germany, in around the Mount Blocken, which is called the Blocksberg in Norway. And you find a lot of villages there, which are ending in Leben. And all of these Leben villages are supposedly from the Haruders who settled there. And some of them settled in Norway. So maybe they had some trading connections there, because we do know they had connections for really large areas, and they were, clan cultures, right? So yeah. And let's see now. I'm going to try to catch up here now. So, And I see you have this. I really like that you have all this discussion about light blonde hair and dark blue eyes, because it's really intriguing. And maybe we should do a video and talk about it. And Örjan, you feel 15% Neanderthal every Sunday. I can relate to that. Or actually, yesterday I could relate to that, because we had a deer dinner here on Friday with some guests, and that was really, really good food. Flamesoul, you have another question here. Haplogroup 1I1, this is the male Y-DNA haplogroup, this straight paternal line, right? Originally carried by Scandinavian hunter-gatherers, or was brought to Scandinavia later. You know, that's a really interesting discussion going on. Probably some people claim I2, not I1, came north, but then it should be more of that up north and not in the south, like on Sardinia, where we have a lot of these centennials, people living to more than 100 years old. I would think so, but you know, it's a really difficult question. And why wasn't I1 in Scandinavia replaced by R1A and R1B like it was on the continent? Yeah, it's also a really good question. Something happened, and there was a bottleneck. I've seen people on Wikipedia, if you check that out and read more about this stuff, that they talk about this bottleneck, but we can get that confirmed actually from family tree DNA. They can see that bottleneck even, which means very few people were able to hold some kind of resistance, and eventually they have mixed, as we even see today, you know. With some equal portions there. So maybe they had a clan culture that was strong enough to defend them. Maybe it was geographical, you know, there, because it was not in Denmark, but in Sweden and Norway. But we do have more in the European DNA in Norway than the rest of Scandinavia. So there are a lot of things here. It's really cool to think of, and we'll know soon, I'm sure. Yeah. So I'll move on here now. Cheers, and yeah. The game Crusader Kings. No, I haven't. So that's Varangian Adventure. That's something. Yeah, that'd be cool to see. Yeah, and Michael, you have a good comment here. I think for great fictional work that follows Sturro's work, check Dan Davis' Gods of the Bronze book series. I haven't checked that out myself yet, so I'll do that. Yeah. All right. So I've got some more. The theme here is that I wanted to tell you about some news, and I've got to some of these news, and I didn't want to talk for more than an hour about, so we'll see how it goes. I'll just answer some questions as I go along, like from the disciple here. I think all the DNA providers are good. The big ones, the professional ones, and they have so many samples now that you'll be able to find much of your Swedish ancestry. I think it's possible even to find some quite recent, not just 4,000 or 5,000 years ago, especially in Sweden. So that's really cool. Yeah. Oh yeah. So I think yes, actually this is good. Greg gotta go. All right, take care, and that's it's cool that you could drop by. And the same with T Brown. Blessings. So let's continue with this news, because on May 5th, I talked about this in my video that very few people have said have seen, because of some algorithm thing after this soda company, that video a week ago. But I talked about it yesterday, and I actually put it out on Friday. But I felt it was something really weird happening. I won't go off topic too much, but I'll have to show you this. This is normally in the past few weeks, more and more people have seen my videos, and it's been I'm very grateful. And then after this video where I criticized the big multinational corporation, this horrible Martina case that I tried to help in. If you can see this is the video I posted, I think yesterday, or was it on Friday? And normally I get up in the high gray area there on my videos. That's the way it's been in the past 2 weeks. And then suddenly I get this blue line down here. It's all flat. Then you know something's going on, right? So I tried to post this video out yesterday also, the same video. I just made a little small changes. And I censored myself on 2 verbs because I know YouTube, they have transcripts of everything that's said in every YouTube video, and they have this really big computer, I imagine, to try to do some automatic stuff, but it didn't work. The stats are still the same. So as many of you have seen, then and some of you have advised me, this will probably go over in a few weeks' time. I'll just continue doing this content stuff and creating great content. That's what I want to do, and talk about my passion in history. Yeah. So and Kjetil, thanks for the 100 kroner, man. Oh, that's really. And you saw me in my prize shirt. Yeah, I've been to Japan actually, and I got some good stories. A fireside chat about Japan. Yeah, I can do that. That would involve actually the person from the first fireside chat, because I had a really strange experience with him in Japan at the time, and that's something I can talk about. Yeah, that's a good idea. Thanks, Kjetil. I'll definitely do that. Yeah. And on May 5th, awesome. Yeah. So on May 5th, I'm going to do something for the first time on this channel. I'll have a live stream only in Norwegian, or in talking in Scandinavian for people who understand Scandinavian or Norwegian. But it's not on this channel. It's just I use this channel for it. It's on a Facebook stream, but it's possible to see it on YouTube also for anyone who understands Norwegian. So the reason why I'm doing this is because it's been important for me to find new ways of getting income. I'm doing this YouTube channel, I'm expanding it. I'm getting a lot of good people who are supporting me. Thanks for that, all of you. And I really enjoy meeting people also, and talking passionately about what I'm passionate about, which is Vikings history, and also the roots of the Vikings, and maybe Scandinavians also. Yeah. So I thought, well, why don't I invite people to Scandinavia, to Norway, to the fjords here? You know, there's some really cool stories in the fjords down here, especially from before the Viking Age, but also during the Viking Age, and the sites here. And there's a valley down here. It's called the Viking Valley. You can find it on Facebook, on the internet. Viking Valley, it's called, in Gudvangen. It's a great place to visit. So we made this trip now, and I'm going to do that later on. I'm just trying out this Norwegian thing first, where we'd like to invite you and people who are interested in learning more about Vikings in Norway by going to the actual sites, by staying in these really old, cool, more than 100-year-old hotels, wooden hotels, and doing sauna and all the Viking stuff, and visiting Viking Valley, traveling on the fjords, and talking a lot about Vikings and meeting. So I'm curious to know if that's something that you'd be interested in, because that's coming. We're preparing that now, and I'm hoping that people would give me a heads up or anything if that's something that's cool, because if I get some people who say, yeah, I'd really like to travel from UK or from Germany or Netherlands or Australia or the US or Canada, and have a great experience in Norway, in the Norwegian fjords. I'm preparing that now. I mean, of course, it's going to cost money coming to Norway. It's expensive here also, so we're trying to keep it low. All right, but I'm thinking of some kind of once-in-a-lifetime experience, visiting the fjords, learning about Vikings while in Norway. And the first thing we're doing now, let's see, Old Saxon, I just want to say thanks for your donation here. I'm really grateful. So, and I see people here says that it sounds awesome, it sounds fun, and Xenomax, you speak Swedish, I see, so you might even be interested in the lecture I'll give on May 5th. And for me, it's a matter of meeting people. right? Last live stream, I took people in here. I can even do that now, but I'm afraid we don't have time, basically, this time around. That was really cool. But to meet in person, yeah, get together, that'd be great. We'll see how it goes. The reason why I'm doing this on May 5th is because there's this one region in Norway that I'm working much on at the moment, and if it's all right, if you got time, I'll show you a little bit of it, because I'll be talking in Norwegian, but I got the slides ready. It's sort of like slides, and I can show you real quick if you're interested, while talking in English about this. But the main reason for holding this talk on May 5th is in Norwegian, is to invite people to join me in September. That's when we'll have a weekend outside of Oslo. It's 1 hour from Oslo, this area, which is one of the most important places in all of Norway before the Viking Age, and at the start of the Viking Age. And 3 of the most important kings, Olav the Holy, the Saint Olaf, came from that area. Harald Harald, the guy who fell in England, who was in the Varangian Guard, he was from there, the half brother of Olav. But the first one, Harald Finehair, he was from this area also. So I want to go there, and I'm there quite often because I have some good friends there. There's so much history, and it's the largest concentration of Norse god place names in Scandinavia, I think, but in Norway definitely. So and I'll show you also that also. So yeah, that's what I'm going to talk about on May 5th, and I'm going to talk about it on May 5th because I want to get people to sign up and join in and meet up in September when we're doing this in the weekend. If it's cool, we'll do it for English speakers also in English. I would very much like that and love to meet people. So let's see now. Sounds very good, Aid. Yeah, that's great. And meeting and touring in Norway and learning about Viking history. Please sign me up and let me know the price. Sure, yeah, it's coming. I don't know the price yet. I hope it's not too expensive, man. And let's see now. I'm gonna do that then, I guess. Yeah, I know, Howard. I know. That's something that came up. I criticized the wrong multinational corporation. I've done it before, and it happened again. So I guess the channel will have to live through it. Yeah. How easy is it to travel into Norway from the USA? Well, it's all about vaccinations, I'm sorry to say. They're so scared here, and it's election year this coming September. And the politicians, I mean, the ruling party, they're gonna lose the elections by far, guaranteed. And they're really trying all they can in desperation to save the election. And they're doing it by putting lockdowns on everything. And I got a lot of things to say about that. But I think everyone will calm down from top bottom, from the ones in charge, once more and more people get vaccinated. I mean, there are no people dying anymore in Norway. I mean, we have what's it called? How many under death, we call it in Norway, how many dies compared to normally? It's so low, it's crazy. I mean, we should get more sick now just to train our immune system. But I'm not going to go there at all. Just want to let you know that by this fall, I'm sure it will be a lot easier. Yeah. So hi, Eirik Hellesen. Nice to see you here. Yeah. So Dominique, cool. And it sounds cool. And that's I see a lot of people here are interested in this. So maybe I should show you a few slides from this what I want to talk about on May 5th. Is that all right? Sounds wicked. Yeah. And I want to go to England. I want to travel a lot now. I've never been to Jorvik. I should go to York. Yeah. And Annie, if you want to learn Norwegians, yeah, Google Translate can get you a long way. So that's good. And Kenneth, yeah, all right, we'll do it. We'll do it now, actually. I'm really grateful for. I thought, as long as you try to be yourself, be a little bit authentic, talk about things in a passionate way, and have some content. Maybe you have a thing, and that's basically what I'm doing. I'm not trying to pretend or anything. I don't like that. So yeah, let's talk about Ringerike. Should we do that, Flame Soul? Yeah. And I'm going to read all these comments later on. Tønsberg, I'm going to talk about that also now. I'm going to mention that. Borre, yeah, that's true. It's all connected with Ringerike, and it's all connected with iron. And if you didn't know this, in the Bronze Age, in Scandinavia, we had so much to trade with. It was one of the richest regions in Europe by far. And because of all these things we had to trade, especially up north in Norway. I'm talking about this in some other videos. But regarding bronze, to make bronze, the copper and the tin and everything you needed, it was so. It was in Cornwall in England. It was down in mines in Austria, in Spain. There were some, and especially in Italy, there were some mines. And you had to have these large trading networks, all controlled through clans. And that's why the now leading archaeologists, they're saying that the clan culture we see at the start of the Viking Age, it was all put together, fundamented in the Bronze Age. But then something happened. The Bronze Age collapsed. And everything changed. And in the Iron Age, then we had not only a lot of things to trade from here, tusk and stuff from the north, even though they did get some tusk in the Roman period from Africa. I guess it's not called tusk. It's, well, you know what I'm talking about, I'm sure. But we did have iron, lots of iron bog. And you know where it was found? High up in the mountains, in the bog ores. And it was a very special way to make it. So I'm going to start off now and try to explain this in about, it's going to take 10 minutes. I hope it's all right. Viking sites near Sandefjord. Yeah, it's getting close to Sandefjord, and I'll show you right now. Annie, you have to go. That's all right, of course, and I'll see you later. So let's see here now. Ringerike. And I'm going to try something here now. Thanks to Rana. It's really nice of you to pitch in here now. So let's see. If I go to this one, I have a video here, which I wanted to show you on how they make this this bog iron. And I think we'll probably start there, because I'm not going to show you the whole video. I'm going to show you 1 minute of it, but it's really, really cool. As long as I have it here now, it's a yeah, there we are. And so I'm gonna, I'm actually. I don't think it's going to work to play a YouTube video in a live stream. So I'll instead, it seemed like a smart idea, but in the end, I wasn't that smart. So we're not going to do that. But I'm going to put the link down below so you can see for yourselves. It's in Norwegian though, but there's not a lot of words. You can see how they make this. Maybe I can do it afterwards. But first, I'm going to show you here now. I'm going to share my screen, and you can see this one. Wait a second, I'll do this. There we are. So I'm going to do it real quick, but this is what I'm going to talk about on May 5th, all right? Because here you can see down on the green areas where, I don't know if you can see the mouse cursor. No, you can't. Oh, yes, you can maybe. So in the green area around Oslo, the capital of Norway, you have one of the most important places in Norway. And I'll show you the reason for it right now. If we can go the right way, and there we are. It works. So the whole point, I'm talking now as a historian, right? I'm using DNA, but also other research. And the LIDAR revolution that's going on now, to look from the satellite data and analyze using really advanced and new computer science to find traces that we didn't know existed before. It's really, really cool. You can find lost battle sites, for example, where there are farming areas. But if you look at rivers like this, and how the water connected people before, still do, of course, just look at Ethiopia at the moment, and Egypt. And I'll show you some maps here now of waterways and watersheds and river basins. And there's this, I showed something earlier of this Hungarian. There's a link down below if anyone wants to check out. These are the different river basins in a colorized map. And this is really, really cool, I think. So I hope I'm not nerding you out here now. For example, if you see in Sweden, you got a lot of rivers coming down into the Baltic from the Norwegian mountains there, or the Swedish Norwegian mountains on the border. And I wanted to show you this by putting two maps together. This is elevation, all right? And I had to put these two maps together in a sense to give you a sort of, to show you how it is to be a Norwegian living on the coast here, separated by all these mountains. But we do have a lot of mountain people. And some of these mountain people, they settled back in the days of bog iron, when they wanted all this iron. So this map I showed you earlier in the live stream, and here you can see how flat everything is except for in Norway, in Northern Europe. And if you look on river basins, it gets even more interesting. These are some of the rivers that the Vikings were on, right? And they really knew much about rivers, all right? There's this, I'm going to tell you this now. There's this shipping magnate that used to be my investor when I went to the Easter Island. And he talked a lot about how he had learned while traveling the Nile. This is Fred Olsen, for those of you who know about this shipping magnate. He worked a lot with Thor Heyerdahl for many, many years and financed a lot of his expeditions. So the thing is, he found out how you could sail backwards on the rivers, not just midstream down, but you can sail on the waves when the stream goes down like this. You can actually, there's a technique so you can sail backwards. And he's convinced that the Vikings knew about this and were able to do this on the rivers in Russia, for example, but just as well in Norway. So this is what I want to show you here now. And let's see here now. I hope this is cool. And let me know if I should. Oh yeah, the Salme people, Karsten, we're going to talk about that. Let me know if this doesn't bore you, but I see a lot of people are still watching, so I guess it doesn't. I'll continue now with this nice map of the river basins in Europe. And let's see here now. This is the elevation. And here we have the main European drainage divides, the red lines. It's quite interesting also if you're into water, I guess. And as you can see, Spain or Iberia here, Portugal, Spain, that's quite interesting in the way the rivers run here. It's horizontal, not the way people have migrated. This is from DNA paper. We can see clearly the migration downwards from north. This has something to do with the Muslim reconquest of Spain from the Muslims, of course, but still it's interesting when you know the river basins go another direction than the migrations of peoples, because that's not what you find in other places around Europe. And here you have the river basins in England, and you can also check out, of course, in the US. It's really cool if you see the whole Mississippi and Missouri here. I mean, that's just amazing, I think. But in Norway, in this area, here you had a lot of bog iron that you can make swords, tools, and weapons, and all kinds of stuff. And you had so much of it. So I'm going to show you something here now. I mean, the thing is, this is like a river with all the different tributaries. But the bog iron at the top here, really high up on elevation. So you had to go up the valleys. And here we have in the Østerdalen, this is a little bit more east in Norway. You can see how the bog iron was really high up here, and you had to go and get it all the way along the river basins down here, all the rivers. And the ones who control the river and the lakes on strategic places, like in Hamar, for example, or like in Ringerike, or like in Borre by Tønsberg, then you were able to control a lot of stuff. The ones who are down here, this is from Romania, by the way, so it's not right. It's not from Norway, but I think it was a nice photo to show. I mean, imagine you got to get the iron you need to make swords, to attack or to pillage or to have warfare or to be in control. You got to get it from really high up and really far away. And I'll show you here now. This is a really cool photo. This is Lidar from a archaeologist in Oppdal fylkeskommune, it's called. He's doing a lot of cool research, and they're searching. Here you can see, this is Oslo down here. Here you see Ringerike around this lake. And here you can see how far, it's 2.5 hours almost to drive really high up in the mountains here. Here is where they got all the bog iron, and down all along the mountains here. And some of this iron also went in down to the western fjords, as you can see here, because the roads across the mountains went there. And this is how it looked. This was the gold, the black gold that they brought down the rivers. And it's important to know. And here you can see the satellite photos. This is how they found here. All these sites are places where they took out iron bog iron, I mean, and where they made everything they needed to make that. I'll put that video up so you can see, for those of you who are interested. But it's really high up in the mountains, and then they take it down to the river or the lakes and go from lake to lake by the rivers to come all the way down. And here you can see the river coming down from the mountains, and you can see the different places where they took out the bog iron. And I find this really fascinating, because here you have down this direction that I talked about, and you have another valley down there, and then a third valley down there, and they're all lakes all there. And of course, everyone worked with this. This is a massive scale, and it's before the Viking Age. It's in the Roman period. It's in the migration period, and there's less before the Viking Age. The 2 centuries I talked about, that was devastating. But then it picks up in the Viking Age again. And I'll turn the map around here. You can see this lake I talked about in Ringerike down here. And I'll do this. So you can see where all these boats were coming down with bog iron, and they were able to make. And the ones who stayed in control here and in Hokksund and down here by Borre, they were all connected, of course. It was a big clan. And this is where we know the kings who came from here, the first kings of Norway, they were closely related to the kings down here, and they even moved down there. So the ones who controlled here. But imagine having all this wealth coming down here. That's just amazing. And you got to know this. You got to know about the waterways, the river basins. And what do you find down here? Down here, and that's where we're going in September. And that's what I'm going to talk about on May 5th. Where we find huge buildings of chieftains, kings, petty kings. You find some of the largest Viking treasures ever discovered. Actually, not some, the largest Viking treasure ever discovered. We find a Viking helmet. You see in the middle there now? And this is a really cool burial. Is it okay if I show you a little bit from this burial? Let's see if this works. Yeah, I think this should work. I'll try this one now and see. I prepared something for you. There we go. And here. So here you can see, let's see now. And it's coming. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. But I got my phone here on to see how. Yes, it's working, isn't it? All right. So this is the only helmet that's found. And it's a burnt grave, right? It's a cremation grave. Here you see the mound, and here you see a really cool animation about how what was in the mound. So and they found weapons and everything. You'll see now in a second. But here you can see how they made this mound. It's much different from the mound I was at when I talked about the pyramids of the north. Here's everything that was found in the mound, right? And this was a knight, obviously. Very early night, because this is from the Viking Age. You see he has even horse things. I don't know what you call it in English, but to ride a horse in any case. And I'll show you this also. If you can, yeah, you can see this. This is a reconstruction of the burial. So I really wanted to show you this, because here you see horses, you see the sledge, and there are horses in front of the sledge. So the horse next to him is obviously the most important horse, right? You see axes there, and the helmet was down there. There's this weapon, a sword, of course, in the middle there. And isn't this cool to see? How, let's see, maybe I can even do this. And you can see how huge this burial must have been. Really, really big. And So many horses. This must have obviously been a powerful man, but it wasn't the king. There's this archaeologist who mentions that he thinks this was probably a knight of the king, serving the king. And they burnt the whole thing and they put a mound over it. And when they opened the mound, many, many centuries later, they found this helmet. Yeah, so I hope that was cool to see. And I imagine everyone was able to see that now, I hope. Yeah. And we find more stuff also. And I'll finish off these slides now. Hope that's okay. Because this is from this burial I talked about. And also another grave. It's a twin grave. It's probably a man and a woman together. And they have found 900 pearls. Lots of amber also, but 900 pearls from all around Europe, even far into Syria. Really wealthy couple there who was buried in the same place. And here we have this, I talked about the greatest collection of Norse gods' place names is also here in Ringerike. It's really, really intriguing place to visit once we go there. And further down south, you have the Midgard Viking Center, where people who are related to this, where Viking Hall there, and this is a really cool place to visit even today. Yeah. So the thing is, if you know about the water, like here, where the different, then you know where power was. Just because there was so much iron, bog iron, in the mountains that were brought down, and that was really, really important. Yeah, I'm not going to go onwards here now, but I hope that was okay of me to share with you. And yeah, they're gold. I agree, Tura. I mean, it's really, really cool. And the place where this is at is called the Mound Village, Haugsbygd, because there's so many mounds there, you know, and there's been a lot of grave plundering, unfortunately. Yeah. So yeah. So, but this is, I mean, thanks. Yeah, I'm really glad I was able to show you this now, because it's so much to know about history in just a specific area, and you learn a lot about the start of the Viking Age and the centuries before, and I think, as for me at least, I'm able to connect things in all ways, in new ways also, of a historical understanding, and that's rewarding. Well, to me it is anyway. Yeah. So yeah, and thanks, Howard. That's the thing. This is what we need. Yeah, and if you travel, yeah, we can use metal detector, because I know a few places here where they have these natural fortresses. There are a lot of natural fortresses where they would stay protected, and there's a couple of twin fortresses where they probably, I imagine they took the bog iron through there like a toll road. So there we can try to find that with a metal detector, actually. Yeah. So I hope you know now how in the Viking Age bog iron, and also in the centuries before, in the Roman period, for example, Norway and Scandinavia, where they were self-sufficient on iron 2,000 years ago. And in addition, we had a lot of things to trade, such as amber and lots of skin and tusk from up north in Norway, and fish. After a while, dried fish was important in the Viking Age for selling. So there's so many things to trade. So you can imagine how important it was to have control of these trade routes, and that's power. So that's note to self. Yeah, bog iron. So Visant. Were Swedes more developed than Norway back in the Viking Age? No, they were related. Up north in Norrland, and in Norrland in Norway, it's called the same. But I mean, that the trading routes went through there. So they were more or less related until they started fighting amongst themselves because of, well, power, and the clan structures from centuries and even thousands of years back were non-existent after the Viking Age brought so much wealth, especially in the 9th century, and sort of toppled up the whole, and that had something to do with the DNA also, people mixing. I'm sure of it. Yeah. So I'm glad you like it, and I think it's fascinating too. Also, yeah. Nicole, I put down a link, I think, under the video. No, I'm going to do that now, actually. Well, I'm going to do it before I say bye to you. I got to say bye first. So I'll put the link down under the video, and you can see these maps, because they are really cool. So I hope more people can check out this Hungarian guy making maps. Yeah. So And Gjermundbu, yeah, that's the helmet. It's called Gjermundbu. That this helmet, yeah. So I'm glad you like that now. Was it superior? Yeah, that's a good question, Håvard. Superior to iron from Southern Europe? Well, yeah, not the Indian iron, by the way, because that was really advanced. They used a whole different technique, and that came to Europe a little bit later in the Middle Ages. Well, in the early Middle Ages, but late after the Viking Age. But the quality of the bog iron was really, really good. Yeah, really good. So that's something to think of. Yeah. And I'm not going to show you this video how to make the bog iron, but I put that link down below also. It's another YouTube video, and it's just 2-3 minutes, but it's really cool to see how they did it up in the mountains, like I showed you on the LIDAR satellite photos, where you can see even it's really round, and they had to make coal also out of wood in a special way to get the heating right to make this iron, the bog iron. And then they could transport it, right? So yeah. Well, I hope this was good, and I'm going to cut it short now. Is that okay? Because I've been talking for 1 hour and 16 minutes, and I didn't want to talk too long, but I want to say hi, and we can have other discussions and talks later on. And I hope it's all right that we were able to. I have one specific topic that I want to talk about in the live stream like now, and at the same time, I'm trying to answer questions here and there, and I hope that doesn't make me, get off the topic or have too many side topics going on at the same time. And yeah, well, Torolf, if you just joined, the video will be. I mean, it's more impossible to just. Once it's up now, to start in the start again. So yeah, and Rune, hey, thanks, Rune. I appreciate it. If you want to check out more content, and I promise now to make another fireside chat on Japan, and I'm going to do that because they love Vikings in Japan, and there's a fighting story here also. So yeah, I'm going to do that. And as hey, thanks back at you. Arvin, the grit and strength of the ancient Vikings is mind-blowing. And yes, it is true. And to me, it's more and more eye-opening. Now that I learn more as the new research is coming out on the centuries before the Viking Age also. If you see my video, did the Viking Age last for 1,000 years? I mean, there's archaeologists talking about there. Maybe you can draw a straight line back to the Bronze Age. The Viking Age lasted longer than that, but it's quite interesting. Yeah. So and the singing, as you say, David, that's something I have to make a video about, because we know a lot about the ancient songs and melodies that in the Viking Age and late Viking Age, because of Christianity. There were so many rules coming with Christianity on how to make music. So we know before the 13th century that some of the oldest songs we have, gammel stev, they're called stev, that's verse, an old verse. They are sung in a very special way. And a lot of the music was circular also. And they had this loose bass on some of these oldest music that we have in Norway. And I think that music is more than 1,000 years old. We know it's more than 800 years old. But with the loose bass, you get this circular trance notion, and that was important. Trance music was actually quite important among the early Vikings. Imagine that. So that's coming in another video, David. Yeah, we got to do that. And Jason, all the hard work. Yeah, I appreciate you dedicating yourself also to supporting me, all of you. I'm really happy. Please, if you want to check out more content on Patreon, there's a link down below to do that also. And Göran, yeah, I'm going to talk more about the Fimbul winter. That's the transition period, those 2 centuries. I think if it hadn't been for that Fimbul winter, the 3-year-long winter, right, and the plague that came, but if it hadn't been for that winter, man, and the little ice age for 125 years, I don't think we would have seen much difference in the Viking Age and the time period before. It would have been continuous, I'm sure. So thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks, Maria. And I'm very happy to have spent this time with you on Sunday evening. It's getting dark here now. and I hope we'll be able to talk more, and we can talk more about throat singing also. I'm not sure, Laura, so we're going to talk about that later on, and I'll see you later. And sure, yeah, we're going to do a music topic soon. Very much. Great stuff. And I hope you all are able to have a good atmosphere together here as a clan. We're sort of like a Viking clan turning into now. I really like that. Viking Stories clan. If you want to check out more of this content also, please do so. If you like their shirts like this one and stuff, you know, with the runes. And take care. Skål, where are you? Oh, there you are. Lady Goldberry and Diego, good night. Torwolf, good night. And we'll do one soon again, Tore. All right? Take care and skål, everyone. Let's see. I'm sure how to end this. I'll try this one.